Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, ain't that cute? Oh, don't that look cute?
Don't
Look
that
at you,
look.
Jason.
Don't that just look.
Th- Thank you for the
Don't
overlay for this last minute.
don't it all just kind of look
Uh,
though?
I love the start your day with gay at the
Start
bottom.
your day with
That's
gay. Thank
so
you, Nessa,
good.
for that. That was just
Oh,
very good.
bless. So, yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Oh, my goodness. Hello,
Woo!
Becky. Holy
Woo!
smokes.
Wow, thank
My,
you. Was not expecting to
thank
just
you.
be blasted.
Well, Jason's awake.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, now
8 o'clock p.m.
my internet connection is unstable.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no kidding. Jason's finally awake.
I am. I've been asleep all
Jason.
day. Just kidding. I haven't been asleep
Oh,
all day. I've been awake all day.
all day.
All day.
Uh, well, thank you, Becky. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. But yeah, so since we weren't able to do Ailmere yesterday, we are going to do a little
Not Ailmere
impromptu
today.
thing. Not Ailmere today, because don't have everyone here. But we are going to be talking D&D and tabletop RPGs. Oh, Cecil said that their computer is struggling really bad. They're going to have to re-enter the call.
Ruh-roh.
So we might. All right, go for it, Bean.
I believe in you. I believe
I
in you.
believe in you. But today we're going to be talking about being a DM. Jason and I are both DMs, and Cecil is prepping to become a DM for some Vampire the Masquerade goodness at home. So I figured that it would be fun for us all to hop on and talk D&D. But I did see that we have a pronoun sound off in the chat, so let us start that off right. All right, and I shall start. Hello, my name is Casper. I use they, them pronouns. I am okay with he, him pronouns, but my primary is they, them. Jason?
My name's Jason. I'm your friendly neighborhood dad-shaped he, him. What's up? How goes it? I wore flannel today to make sure that I fit the dad aesthetic.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna roll up my
also
sleeves
the gay
too.
because
This is the big queer dad vibes. Want to make sure
we love to see it.
Big queer dad vibes.
Well, yeah, Jason is remembering that I told him he's only allowed to stay with any of our projects if he continues to be as queer as possible.
I mean, I could be a dad and I could be a himbo. I mean, those were the other requirements on the contract.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it was
true.
defined.
I'm glad you read your contract.
I made sure to read it before I signed it.
Because Jason's smart. So we are going to be waiting for Cecil to join back in. But as they get started, also Cecil uses they, them pronouns, and they are an artist. They're an artist for Thesperience projects, primarily Nexilis games, and they are also going to be one of the primary artist for a future webcomic that we will be doing. So Cecil's here to talk about whatever they have to contribute once we can get them back on the call.
They're also a player for Ailmere.
But first...
Which...
Oh, well, yeah, I figured that people would know that if they're here, but
I mean,
they do
some
play...
people might
they
be
do
here
play...
that don't know.
That's true, and look at me making assumptions, and you know what they say about assumptions. So, Cecil was a... before Ailmere was like a primary plotter with me for Nexilis, so Cecil's been involved since the beginning, but is now finally like showcasing their talents. Also, Cecil did create the character Claudius, who was an NPC in Nexilis, and they also created the character Nilo, who was one, if anyone remembers, that was one of the deities mentioned in Welcome to Ailmere, and now Cecil is playing as That is not their name. Why am I only thinking Saris, Jason?
Surreal?
Surreal, thank you. They play Surreal.
Don't
I
say
love
Saris. No one knows that. No one knows about that.
Who's that? Who's that, Jason?
Why are we
No
saying
idea.
names that nobody knows?
I don't know who this is. Saris, like from Helsing?
Yeah, that's
the anime?
Yeah, Helsing. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Anyway. But yeah, they play Surreal, and we love Surreal, and their totally existing cat. And that's in the character art, but we don't know where it is in Aelmir.
That's the plot twist at the end. It was the cat all along. Sorry, I spoiled it. It's the cat.
It was the cat.
It was the cat. Damn it.
But well, it's okay. See, that's why. See, it's fine that Cecil's not here, so they won't hear this absolute spoiler.
Yeah, of just everything with the cat. All along.
So Surreal, you're an accomplice, an unknowing accomplice.
Yeah,
you're gonna go to jail for 30 years. Anyway, but and question, how is settling going in? Settling's going well as it can be. As you can see, have this recording area situated. The only thing that would make this better is if you could get Jason back out here. Anyway.
Well, it's like, I'm not a decoration in your recording space. The hell are you playing? I'm gonna stand in the background. I'm gonna be a coat hanger.
Sit.
In the background.
You just sit. You sit right there.
In a
on
box?
My plushie box.
I don't want to sit in your box.
No, on the box.
Oh, on the box.
On the box.
I was like, put me in the box, and
no,
I sit
on
in
the box.
Sit in it for the. Oh God.
No, on.
All right.
Anyway, did want to start with a question as we wait for Cecil to get back, and the question is, I feel like kind of a standard one. Jason, how did you, or when did you get into D&D or tabletop RPGs?
The year is fuzzy. Because I was a wee young child of like 10, 11, I want to say. Cecil's here.
Cecil.
I'm trying.
You're doing
Yay!
Yay!
I'm back.
Hello.
Yeah! Cecil, really quick, can you introduce yourself? I introduced you for you, but you should do it
rude.
for yourself. Listen, they weren't here. Now my internet's unstable.
My internet also still unstable. Okay, before it implodes on itself. I'm Cecil. I go by they, them. I'm mainly an artist for stuff and things. Yeah.
I love how you say you have unstable
I didn't hear you guys'
internet.
introduction, so I don't know how that...
No, it sounded fine. Like, you guys look and sound fine.
Yeah. Oh.
Yay!
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's like no
Cool.
issues that I can see.
I'll take it. Great, because my
Thank
screen
God.
is struggling.
My computer just kaput as soon as you guys started talking. I'm like, uh-oh, I can't hear anything.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Also, Jason,
so I
just
restarted
realized we
everything.
What?
What's it?
Oh, no, I was just saying that the chat doesn't pop up on the screen.
Yeah,
For some
I mean
reason.
Oh, because I.
It's not the hugest issue, it's just...
Oh. Well, it can't be perfect all the time, okay? I can only
No,
do
it's
so
great.
much. God damn it!
No,
There
If
has
it's not
to
the
be-
sound. Also, quick, chat has the sound. Is the sound good? Does the sound okay? Can you hear me?
Sound okay?
Can
Does
you
it
hear
sound okay?
everybody? Just want to make sure.
Do we all sound okay?
There
You
always
sound fine.
there has to be one thing that isn't how you want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. There has to be
That's
one thing.
that's showbiz, baby. The show.
Yay.
Let's go on. Yay. So yeah, Cecil is very, very dear friend of mine. Also a very
I'm here.
important member of the artistic team for Nexilis and Thesperience projects. And yeah, and as I mentioned, is here for this like DM special, even though you haven't DM'd for Nexilis games because you are prepping to DM for a at-home Vampire the Masquerade. Won't be streamed. But since you're kind of prepping to be a DM, I figured drag you on. unwillingly. Cecil had no choice.
Yay.
So, Jason, how'd you get into D&D?
Yeah, well, when I was a small boy, of age 10 to 11 maybe.
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. No, I was kidding. Well, actually, no. I was a wee child. That's how it started. It's actually one of those,
The very
like,
beginning.
it's very, I don't want to say it's cliche, but it's very cliche. It was like, hanging out with family at like a lake house, and my uncle just happened to find this old box that had like the old like D&D like 3rd edition book and like a pre-made dungeon and like some character sheets that were just there, and said, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we sat down and did this? And then he like ran it for a bunch of kids, and then it was like I never played again because I never found anybody that like knew D&D or how to play. And then fast forward to college, and then meeting people as Critical Role's getting big, and everyone's like, I want to play D&D again, and I was like, I haven't played since I was a wee lad. And then everyone's playing D&D again, so then hopped back into it, and it was the best and worst decision of my life.
Simultaneously, no in
Yeah.
between.
Best and worst.
I mean, yeah, fair, because it's like, wow, it's cheaper than therapy. D&D is not therapy. I make the
D&D is
joke
not
all the
therapy.
time, but please, for the love of God, no one
No.
actually take this as medical advice. It's cheaper than D&D. In the short run, in the long run, probably more expensive. Now, equally expensive, depending the therapist.
Oh, I thought you were going to say depending
But,
on how many dice you own.
It is so much fun. Oh.
I mean,
Well,
you're not
depending
right.
on how
No.
many books and dice trays and dice towers and minis and paints and all that you buy, and maps and commissions, and it might be the same as therapy.
Costumes.
Oh, if you
the
LARP
amount
your
of time you
characters.
put into things.
Unpaid, yeah. So it's not cheaper than therapy.
It's not cheaper
and
than
it's not
therapy.
therapy. There's my PSA.
But it's
No.
not suggested by a medical healthcare professional.
No. Like, you can use therapy, you can use D&D as part of your therapy. I've seen that done. That's really cool. But it's not therapy by itself. And honestly, if you're going to treat it like therapy,
Don't.
actually, I would be horrified
Also,
to
your
have
friends
it.
aren't your therapists.
No, I was about to say, imagine having a therapist as a DM, DMing it for therapy.
Don't work out your shit in D&D. Do that outside of D&D time.
Do that with a professional.
Do that with somebody who's
Anyway.
like gone to school for that. Don't.
Who gets paid?
Play
for it.
D&D with your therapist.
Well, I mean, 2 birds, 1
No, listen.
table.
2 birds, 1 die.
2 birds, 1 d20.
Oh.
That's great. Okay.
Cecil, how did you get into tabletop RPGs? Putting you on the spot, Cecil.
I know. I didn't prepare anything.
You don't have to. It's
Went
cash.
to my room and
I
sat
don't-
down.
It's classy cash.
I got into D&D. I guess it was really just by proxy of like Cass and Nessa being into it, and I think it was very much like Cass and Nessa and a bunch of like their like friends and or coworkers, like they were all like playing or getting into it and stuff, and I remember at least Nessa, if not Nessa and Cass, being like, you should just make a D&D character, just like, just make a character, like, like whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't know why I would just make one without like a reason to. And there was this one point where I was like, okay, yeah, I'll just go ahead and whatever. And I was brought into one of the sessions, and this was being like literally like within the past 3, 4, 5 years. like was brought into it was a Curse of Strahd game run by one of Ness's past co-workers. And it only lasted one session, but like that was the very first time that I started playing. And then during Hurricane Irma?
Yep.
One of the hurricanes. Nessa was like, have an idea for an urban fantasy thing. If you guys would be down to play it, and we're just like, hell yeah. And then it lasted for like a year or so. And
we made Art and Amir.
And yeah, that's where Art came from, and then Amir was put in it. And yeah, and the rest is history. I recently like a year ago or so, well, God, it might be 2 years at this point, Nessa offhandedly said like, hey, you like vampires, why don't you do a like Vampire the Masquerade thing? I had never like barely even heard of it at that point, and I'm like, okay, and I just jumped right the fuck in and bought the core book, and the rest of that is more or less history, and I've been studying it for 2 years.
That in Chicago.
One day.
Chicago by night.
Yeah.
Very excited.
One day.
Yep. And
sooner than later,
now,
hopefully. But yeah.
Crossing fingers. Yeah, and Cecil and I play a lot with Nessa as our DM. We played Art and Amir for like a year and a half. And then now we're playing Drewalt and Nimble, 2 NPCs from Nexilis, and that's who we are playing. And we also played some pickup games with Jason and Nessa, so we've all gotten to play in various roles, which is fun. I got into tabletop RPGs about the same time Nessa did. I had heard of D&D. I knew what it was. Like anyone around my age, like, you know, Big Bang Theory was huge while in high school, and they talked about stuff like that. So like I knew of D&D. When Nessa's coworker at the time decided that he wanted to DM for some of us, and that's when I made my first ever D&D character, like 5-6 years ago. I made Beckett Ambesis from Welcome to Nexilis. She was my first ever D&D character. I love her so much, the raging bitch. And the only time I've ever played a female, actually. She is the only female character I've ever played, because after that I just started playing masculine characters and exploring my gender through that. And then there was like, you know, listening to the Adventure Zone was huge for me getting into D&D. I had seen a lot of like best of clips of Critical Role and High Roll. Nessa was huge into High Rollers done by the Yogscast out in England. And so that was kind of like my first introduction to a media with that. And yeah, I just started making a shit ton of characters, looking for any excuse to play. I've played online, like on Roll20 before. That didn't work really well. I prefer playing with friends. And then played with Nessa. I've DM'd for Nessa, played with them. And then when I started working with Jar Rebuke and stuff, I kind of figured, wow, wouldn't it be fun to play D&D with a bunch of actors? And so I figured, I know a bunch of actors. What if we decided? Then I reached out to Jenny and Chelsea and Jason, and it was like, hey, would you all like to run a one-shot that I've run before? And then it became a mini campaign. And I was like, hey, do we want to stream it? Sure. And here we are. So Jason's been apparently involved or having knowledge of tabletop RPGs longer than Cecil and I have by a good margin. But yeah, also I'm very happy that people like Beckett. That does warm my heart. I didn't get to do enough with her. I may have to bring her back. Oh no. So.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no, Beckett's coming back. I'm so sorry.
No. Oh no.
Whatever will we do?
Oh, no.
We all know Beckett would be great. And if a game is called Capitalism is Bad, the game, Beckett would be a great NPC. her thing is greed. That'd be anyway. Back on topic.
Oh, why is
Oh
that
yes.
so loud?
Sorry, Becky did point out it has officially been 1 year since Jar of Rebuke started. Jar of Rebuke started. It released its pilot on the 21st of last year this month. So hooray for 1 year for Jar of Rebuke. That is exciting. So yeah. So a few things that we have planned for tonight is we shall just answer general questions, chit chat about general stuff, and then Jason had a really fun idea involving making NPCs based off of tarot cards.
I did.
So we'll kind of talk about fun ways to make NPCs, especially based off of this idea that Jason had that honestly I might use in the future
Why
because this
not?
sounds really cool.
Why not?
So actually, if we want, we could get started with that if we would like. So Jason, tell us a bit about this idea that you had.
Well, to be honest, I don't know. The best I
That's fair.
got
Fair.
is that, a while back I did a one-shot with somebody, or I played a one-shot that somebody was running, where, before we started the game, everybody made their character sheets, you know, level 1, roll, simple stuff. And then from there, the DM, pulled cards for everybody from a tarot deck, and, like, gave them a little, like, extra something. I don't know if it was like a magic weapon or like a backstory element or some motivation or something based on the tarot cards, but I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, so I was like, we can try and do something like that, or maybe come up with something of our own. So maybe pull 3 cards, like one is like, I guess, race, class, and then the third one is like motivation. Do that.
I was figuring another thing that you could possibly do, if you wanted, is like, you know, when you do the 3-card poll of past, present, future,
Yeah.
it could literally be like, you could literally do past, where they're at, like backstory, where they're at, and what their motivations are for the future.
Okay.
And so you could build like the personality and the character, and then kind of think of what might fit.
This song is just going hard, and I'm like, I want to have a quiet song. Why is this so? Actually,
I didn't even realize we had music playing. Thank you.
oh, yeah, I did. I got it.
Heck yeah. So yeah, we got options with how to do this, and it also does work because all 3 of us are witches and do tarot. So
Howdy. Wow, that's a
Heck
horrible
yeah.
sound. That is a horrible sound.
oh no.
It was just grand theater, and then it has like ambience and music, and it was like just people talking and like an orchestra like tuning their instruments. I was like, oh, Ugh.
That's our new waiting room
do
music.
we? Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea. Is there anything here that's just music? I'm on that website that had like the
What?
gunshot sounds and like the chickens.
Oh no.
Oh, I thought you were on Pretzel Rocks or something, because I know there's also like bardcore stuff.
Hardcore.
I mean, there's rainy.
Yeah.
There's rainy village. We can do rainy village.
Keep the ambiance of the Aylmere.
Yeah, we could do mansion night. Mansion and night.
Mansion.
Rat battle. Hold on. Rat battle. This
Rat
says.
or
Like the rodent?
Yes, like the rodent. Rat battle.
what?
I kind of like the idea of rat battle.
Fuck
oh,
yeah.
tavern music. There we go. That's what I wanted. Something really simple.
Oh,
Like
and
rap battle.
Like rap
we have a
battle. with
question from
rats.
Lenny.
Hello, Lenny.
So when the question gets sent, I will take a look because I don't think the question has been sent. Nope.
First you
Yeah.
start with a circle.
And
draw
then
2
you
more
work your way
circles.
down.
You draw 2 more
You
circles.
draw 2 more circles. for the ears.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's your D&D character.
Yeah.
Mickey
It's
Mouse.
a rat. Surprise. Rat battle.
Hey!
Surprise, it's just rat battle. Rat battle
Hey,
the
hey, hey,
game.
hey. Full circle.
That's gonna be, I'm writing
Full
a,
circle.
I'm writing a, like a additional like compendium or something of just like rat type characters that you can use in your campaign. Just rats.
Just rats, just straight up rats.
Rat-a-clock.
It's everything but rats. More of them.
Ooh, question is
Just
in.
more rats.
We are going to play our first D&D session this coming Wednesday. What is your biggest piece of advice for TTRPG virgins?
Have fun.
Don't overthink it, have
I know that-
fun.
Yeah,
Oh.
like, might sound cliche, but just have fun.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, have fun is like everyone wants to have fun. Like, I think that's a given. Like, you want to have fun. At the same time, communication in game and out of game before you even go in is really, really important. Make sure that you talk to the people who are going to be in the party with you, talk to your DM, make sure that everybody kind of understands I guess where you're coming from, because I mean we did a lot of like player checklists for, you know, triggers, make sure that we wanted to keep our games safe, like a safe environment for everybody, stuff like that. So make sure you kind of keep in touch with your party members and your DM to just kind of make sure everyone knows what's going on, like, and if there are any issues, you know, talk to people, resolve them. If you're excited about something, talk to your DM about it. If you're excited for something like a roleplay moment with or a potential roleplay moment with one of the other players in your party, talk to them about it. Just, you know, communication. It's a game, but it's also teamwork.
Yeah, that is really good, especially because, like, if you're going into this for your first time, it's very much a collaborative game. It's collaborative storytelling. It's very much, it is important that everyone is comfortable with each other, that everyone knows where boundaries are and knows, like, hey, I don't like working with this in media. This is a topic that makes me incredibly uncomfortable. You know, just communicating these kinds of things is very important. And also, like, if you have issues with another party member, or if it's like, hey, I don't like that our characters are acting this way with each other, you know, just communicating.
Yeah.
And keep your DM in the loop. Keep your DM in the loop.
That's really good, because like I unfortunately was in a game where there was a member of the party that bossed the DM around and was like, I want this, my character's the most important, so you have to cater to me. And nobody in the party spoke up about it, and the game ended like real fast, because it was like no one approached the situation or solved the situation or talked to the individual themselves. Like, talk to people. Communication.
Yeah. Communication is key in everything, and this does include D&D and tabletop RPGs.
Oh yeah.
I will say that also, just something that I like to tell, like, people getting into tabletop RPGs is it is a great way to explore yourself a lot, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I think the whole, like, D&D is gay culture. Like, I think that's kind of part of it, is that it gives you an excuse to get to know, like, yourself. And so I always say, like, hey, if you're gonna play this, explore things that you don't normally get to explore. Like, I like to play very impulsive and very just brash characters, like Hitchwire, for example, or Drauls, characters that just say what they want to say, because I'm kind of a cautious person. So just let yourself have fun and explore aspects and be someone new. And it's make-believe with dice. So have fun and pretend. Just remember that it is a game that requires communication.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I hope that answered your question.
Hopefully. Jason gave an actual solid answer. Cecil and I said the same thing, and then I rambled for 2 minutes. So I hope you got something out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it from the perspective of when I first came back to D&D as a player and sat down with somebody who was going to run something for the first time. There was no communication. It was just make a character. I'm going to help you set up your character sheet, and then I'm not going to tell you how to play. So it was I didn't really get help with learning how to do it. So a lot of it came from watching other people play and whatever. So when I finally got to sit down with a DM who was like, "Okay, do you have any questions before we start?" I was like, "You're gonna tell me what to do and how to do it? You're gonna teach me? Oh my god!" And then it was amazing because there was this whole, relationship of just the DM was there to help build you and your fellow party members into the game itself and the world that they were running, and it's like, oh, that's really cool. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Jazz has a request instead of a question. I apologize in advance. Go for it.
No idea what the request is, but let's go for it.
Live on the edge.
So like to keep things interesting here at Nexilis Games and Thesperience Productions. Well, as this gets typed up, I do realize that before we go too terribly much further, should probably point out, okay, it's actually down and that way, I think, from me.
You did it.
We have a sponsor.
You did it
Am
correct.
I pointing the right way?
Yes, you are.
Yay, I did it. We have a sponsor. We have our first sponsor, and our first sponsor is Grinding Coffee Co., which, as you can see from their logo, as well as it being right next to this just glorious machina that we have down here, it is a queer-owned coffee company. It is a Black queer-owned and heavily woman-fronted coffee company. And it's really wonderful. It's run by, I got to speak with one of the owners of the company, and it started with people just trying to make a difference during COVID, and then it became this whole thing. And they now support marginalized streamers all over the internet. And we are so excited and blessed to partner with them. And if you use the link that we have attached on our Twitch page, it is also going to be shared in the chat right now. If you use that link and use the promo code Nexilis Games, you can get 10% off of your entire order, and it helps support our streams as well as marginalized streamers all over the internet.
Cecil, I love your coffee.
Coffee.
It's so good.
It's what I contribute.
I love it.
You do so good, thank you.
I love it. It's so good.
Thanks.
Because I read it in my head as
The
coffee.
coffee. Coffee. The description says not during D&D streams.
Oh, but we're not playing D&D. We're
yeah,
talking about it.
Oh yeah, we're not talking about it. I mean, well, fuck, no, we are talking. We're not playing.
talking.
We're talking.
We're talking.
Joke's on you.
Surprise.
No.
Fuck, we're talking.
Oh, god damn it.
About. God, why are we talking? Why are we doing this?
How dare we talk?
Turns out we're
Yes.
actually playing D&D as ourselves, where we're role-playing talking about D&D.
Yeah, so every time we...
Oh, it's one of
you
those
don't-
games.
You don't hear it, but we're rolling, and then in a Discord server, we're telling each other who rolled the highest,
Oh,
so that
wait,
we have
hold
to talk
on.
next. Oh, shit.
Out of 4, so I can't.
Did I...
I can't do it.
Oh, there's no D20 in there. Damn it. Hold on. I have dice all over the place.
I don't
in
have
this
any-
room.
Oh, I was just about to say I don't have any dice, but I do have a box of sugar babies. That's a lie. I do have dice. I have.
You can't roll the. I mean,
What
you
I-
can roll those, but they're not gonna help with anything. Oh wait, my dice box is right there.
You
I
can't
gotta-
tell me you don't have dice by you.
Oh,
I
she wants
do.
to redeem a Roger Krell. We just talked about this the other
Oh.
day. We did just talk about the Roger Krell too.
We did,
That's fine.
and I just put a sugar baby in my mouth.
Roger Growl with the
And my
sugar
teeth are
baby.
coated in
Challenge-
caramel
challenge
right now?
mode. Challenge mode hard. Growl with the sugar baby.
Challenge mode.
Growl with it in your mouth.
Oh, God. Okay. I will do it once I get this candy out of my mouth.
And you can get it
Nice.
out by just eating it.
It will not be very effective.
Just eat it.
Jason, what did I just say? My teeth are coated in
you
caramel.
said once I get it out of my mouth, and I'm like, okay, so eat it. That's what you did. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
Roll
Just
for initiative.
roll
God.
for.
Failure.
Thank you. Sorry, I did
Yeah.
just read that. I did just read that.
Also,
Yes.
oh yeah, I saw fail. Yeah. Yes, we are keeping our guard up, but thank you very much. We appreciate it. If nothing else, we're just hoping to remain kind of chill, and we can shut down if need be. But we should be fine. Crossing fingers.
We're just vibing.
We're just vibing. I won't be entertaining any of that today.
No way.
But all right. Oh God. Okay. All right. It's been officially redeemed.
Don't worry, I won't look at you when you do it. I'll look away.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You
Thank
can't tell
you.
what I'm doing, so I hope that brings security.
If nothing
That's
else,
horrifying.
your icon. If nothing else, your icon isn't looking straight ahead. It's looking off to the side, so it
It's like I
doesn't
am
look
not
like you're looking at me.
perceiving.
I was
Like,
going
no.
to say no. Here, real quick. I'll real quick edit it where it's looking away.
Oh, I thought you were gonna edit it to look directly
was-
ahead.
Same. We both are just talking, and then Jason and I look and watch as the things just boom.
Yes, the eyes just change
Oh,
suddenly
God.
to be front facing. Oh god, that's horrifying.
I leave. You all hear glass shattering as I jump out the window to run away.
How do you know? Like, how do you know Cecil's not standing in the doorway? Just like,
Oh
hey,
God.
hey, hey, I'm just gonna listen to your Roger Growl. I just wanna see it up close and personal. This is the
Jesus Christ.
Cecil just knocks on the door. Hey, excuse
Uh.
me. Do you mind if I just?
No.
Do you mind?
The thing is, Cecil was living with me. I mean, considering that Cecil's been living with me for years, when I would do that thing where I was like, ooh, I want to practice a growl for this character. I want to have Roger
no.
growl. And then I would practice it in the shower.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Cecil heard me growling in the shower.
Cecil, did you?
I never did.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
let you know.
I'm
Well, there goes
like a
fun
little sad
anecdote.
because that would have been. I was gonna say that would have been really funny.
I'm just sitting
jeez.
at my computer, and then I just hear very distant, like, huh.
It's like Ollie.
No, it's just Cass.
No, it's just me. It's just me.
Cass making growling noises from the shower.
So, anyway, Roger, God, I gotta do it.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I love doing it.
I'm
It's
not
like
looking.
it's cool.
I'm not perceiving. Don't worry.
Yeah.
about it.
God, I haven't done this in so long. Hold on, I'm gonna mute myself and practice one time.
We're just gonna see you miming.
Rawr, rawr, rawr.
You know, like yeah.
Like, you know, like, yeah.
Roger.
If Roger was a cat boy instead of a dog boy, he was tabaxi. He would, you know.
you know, like
You know.
ow,
You know. Like, nya.
ow.
Oh, ooh. Ooh.
No.
Thanks for coming to the
allowed.
stream, everybody. Hope you had a good time.
No, I have killed for less.
Oh.
God damn it.
God.
You gotta do it.
I didn't even practice. I just started
You
making
just
myself
turned it
laugh.
off and were like, oh, I hate it. I hate everything. Oh, this is, oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, Cecil. There we go.
Fuck
That's it.
yeah.
That's it. That took 10 minutes of build up. That's it. I can only do it once.
That's,
It wasn't 10 minutes.
Hold on to your hats, folks. There it was.
There's the doggo.
Woof, woof.
Woof, woof. Honestly, I just need to make more of those kinds of noises. I could make a reel of here's monstrous sounds I can do. Hire me.
Wow.
You know? Wow.
If you can copyright audio for that. Because if people can easily download it from wherever you put it, you're just giving people free ammunition.
You're so right. You're so right.
And they're not gonna pay you for it.
No, they're not.
They're not gonna pay you. Oh, jeez.
Also, sorry to repeat myself and bother, but can I share a few homebrew things I've made 4 or 5? Yeah, I mean, like, sure. We're gonna be talking about stuff we've made in NPCs that we've put together. I also don't know like what kind of content it is that you make, and we primarily cater towards like very queer heavy stuff. So if there is stuff that you would like to share, I will say if anything gets shared in the chat, we here at Nexilis Games do not endorse anything that was shared. It's just other people sharing links. So as long as that's made clear that this isn't an endorsement or whatever, then sure. Also, Becky says that she would love to see and read them, so sure.
Jess says, yay, growl, thank you. That's so good.
You're welcome, Jazz.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
glad I
good.
could make you happy. So yeah. Now, as Jason has been fiddling with the tarot cards,
Sorry, I think
it'd be really cool.
I'm just like straight up stimming with the cards. Just having a good
No,
time.
it's all good. I was just thinking, like, since you have them out, we could possibly like do a card tarot thing, answer
So how
another
did
question
we-
or
how
two,
did we
then come back and do
wanna-
this again.
Like, we'll just do, I guess we can intermittently just do random, just like random NPC whatever. But like, how did we want to do that? Because I know we had the past, present, and future one, or what have you.
I mean, if we do it multiple times, then we could do it different ways.
Okay.
So, like,
so what do you want to do
first time.
for this first one?
Well, let's do your idea first, since they're your cards.
The race, the class, and the motivation?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess while I'm fiddling with this and putting this together, I guess if you have like a question or something, because I know you had like, did you have like table topics or something, or we can think of something? Or, I don't know.
What do you mean table topics? Oh, like things
I don't know.
for everyone to talk about.
Yeah, I'm just saying words. Words are just coming out of my mouth.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
No worries. Well, a table topic that I did have, because we are kind of talking like, you know, a homebrew, like not homebrew, but like making NPCs and D&D like being like queer content. What is it? D&D is gay culture, is a very common thing.
Sure is.
I did want to kind of talk about, what was it? The message that you sent earlier before. It was like, you know, the expression of queerness through the characters you make and the stories you tell.
Oh yeah, I did write that.
Yeah,
I sure did.
that was indeed.
That was
Which
indeed a
was
message
indeed
that I
you.
sent. It was in general in our circle.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think, and I know that Cecil, you haven't DM'd yet, but you and I have been working on making stories that center on like queerness. and Claudius was used as an NPC, so it's relevant.
Yeah, I'm
but
relevant.
you,
are
Cecil,
relevant.
you are always relevant. You are always
Yay.
relevant.
It's Cecil o'clock in this house.
And it is, yes, it is currently Cecil o'clock. Cecil, I love you.
It is your o'clock, Cecil.
Cecil, you're a
yes.
clock.
Oh, okay. So as an aside, I'm gonna send something, and it's not gonna. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I do worry now. Like, if you hadn't said anything, I wouldn't have worried.
Now I'm afraid.
Now I'm
I have
afraid.
concerns.
No, it's fine.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know if I trust this. Oh, is it in this
No,
over
it's
here?
fine.
Oh no, this is from earlier. What did you do? Where did you send it? Oh.
The place where we could both look. Both of you can look at it.
No, I just saw. Sorry, Discord was not showing a. Cecil, that's horrifying. Like, it's cute, but in context, it's horrifying.
Is it? Did you?
Cecil
change
did
the
change.
eyes? Did you
Yep.
change the eyes? Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yep. Oh God. Anyway,
Here, I'll send the
so
other one
on the
also. Yes.
on topic with like queerness and D&D and stuff like that. I guess a good question that we could start with is, why do the three of us personally feel that D&D attracts, or tabletop RPGs attract, so many queer people like to the tables as players or DMs or whatever? Would you like to start us off, Cecil?
Oh, me? It allows us to control the story and make a story that's for us.
Okay. So, like, a place to tell our own stories.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Which makes sense. We kind of struggle with that with, like, the media and not a lot of our stories are out there, especially ones written by us. So, I think that's a really good point, Cecil. Thank you for your answer.
You're welcome. I have aced the test, and now I am free.
No, we still got about an hour.
Graduated gay D&D. But yeah, I just think it has a lot to do with like you and your friend creating these stories, these characters that like you see yourself in and you relate to and you enjoy and like that are fun, and that like all of the tropes or just character plots that are just bullshit that you see everywhere, you don't have to include them because it's your rules. It's your rules, your time. And on top of that, it's very much like, hey, if you don't want something, D&D done right or tabletop RPGs done right, if you don't want something there, it's not going to be there. It communicate well, you do it like you communicate, everyone's gonna have a good time, and like I think that's the biggest part of it. It's like you're creating these stories and building these characters in these stories that are for you and your friends, and I think that's really big.
Yeah, so it can feel like this is like a personal, this is like something that you can connect with in an authentic way.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And thank you for elaborating. Yeah. Let's say, Jason, would you like to go next, or do you want to keep focusing on the cards?
Oh no, I'm done with the cards. So I can answer the question.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Let's see. I think queer culture, just in general, one of the ways that from the people that I know that have played D&D, a way to I guess, work through a lot of the stigma of different facets of the queer community is to project on things, to understand them from an outside perspective, to kind of distance yourself from things in order to see it, you know, like, objectively instead of subjectively. So by playing D&D, you kind of tackle the things that you're trying to figure out, I guess through character, through backstory, through trauma, through personality, through, you know, sexuality, through, you know, all of that, and just using characters and storytelling, and it kind of happens without you realizing it. So it's like things could be happening in-game, and you don't realize until you look back on it that, oh, that's why I made that decision in character, because it was like a subconscious thing. So I think that's one of the things that D&D being queer culture definitely kind of, I guess, kind of rings true to the whole people like to project as a reflection of themselves. And for D&D, everything is custom ordered. It's just right there for you, by you, and that's why I guess a lot of people can work through things and figure themselves out, because it's something that just comes naturally through projecting.
Yeah, no, and like I think it also, as you said, it's like when you play these characters and you get into character, you kind of just become these characters. You make decisions in character, and I think that you made a really cool point of like looking back and going, oh no, that explains this thing that happened in my life over here. Like, I think that's really cool, like, way to look at getting into someone's head is watching how they play their characters. I think that's really cool.
And definitely, like, I know for myself, like, writing backstories for characters that I've played and kind of, like, looking at, okay, why did this happen? Is there it's almost like when people do dream readings and they kind of analyze things that happen in their dreams, that it's like a subconscious thing. It's kind of in the same boat where there could be something going on in your life that you don't realize is affecting the things that you're putting into this character or into this story or into this series of events. So that when you look back on it and go, oh, that's what I was dealing with at the time, I can totally see it reflected in what was going on in-game or in character creation or in world building. And it's kind of like a, oh, well, shoot. There goes my subconscious trying to get at me again. But it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. No, like, cause it can be like a thing you end up figuring out what you need to work on, or like you confronting something can be a good thing. And this is why people make the joke of like D&D and therapy. Again, it's not therapy, but it can be therapeutic. It can be cathartic. It can be very good. It can be very fun, but it shouldn't be used as that. But I think, my answer is just very kind of on a similar path with the two of you, where I feel that things like tabletop RPGs, immersive entertainment, anything where you get to make and play in make-believe, in a situation that you would probably never be in. So like doing murder mysteries or playing tabletop RPGs or kind of like video games like Stardew and stuff like that, or The Sims, where you can immerse yourself into something else, can be a great way for people to explore themselves. It's strange how much you can learn about yourself through playing someone else, because you can make this projection of yourself and it be just disconnected enough that you're comfortable enough to explore things, but it's connected enough to you that it's going to make you kind of introspect a little bit, make you kind of feel it. And like, it wasn't until I started playing more masculine characters in D&D that I actually started to feel like more comfortable reclaiming the masculine part of my identity. And that was just because I was playing male characters, and it kind of came from the, oh, this feels nice, like being called he, him, and being addressed as a man, like this feels nice. Um, but oh, sorry, I just realized that I just froze a little bit. But I think it can be great for self-exploration. You can explore a lot about yourself as a person, and people can realize, oh, I fall into these bad habits. And sometimes they realize it because their characters keep falling into these bad habits, and they have to confront those habits, narratively speaking. And so that kind of makes them confront, oh, why do my characters keep doing this? Oh, and then you realize it's like a thing in your life, either that you want to do or that you do end up doing. So I think it's just a great way for self-exploration, and queer people are drawn to places where they can explore and be themselves. And I feel a lot more people would realize they're queer if they were given the space to explore. So it kind of just nurtures this exploration of the self and realizing that it's okay to be whatever gender, sexuality, all these things. So that's my 2 cents anyway.
Hell yeah. Nailed it.
So, first question. Thank you. First question answered now. Jason, tell us about this NPC.
So here we go. So we had race, class, and motivation. So the first card. Oh, this is my One Piece deck. I love showing off this One Piece deck because it's very pretty. It's got. I also love,
show it off.
I also love showing off the fact that like the side of it is like this gold. So it's got that nice shimmer.
It's very pretty.
It's very fun. So for race, we have the Queen of Swords. So I was going through, because I don't know tarot off the top of my head, so I have a website that I like to go to that kind of gives keywords, descriptions of certain aspects of what it could mean, and then I just kind of like pick from that and see what things kind of catch my attention, and then I just kind of build off of that. So
yeah,
a lot of the things that I saw with Queen of Swords was the fact that it one of the words that stuck out was mother. So I was thinking like a matronly figure, because it says a mature individual. And then I noticed that one of the signs that is connected to the Queen of Swords is Aquarius. So I thought of like an Air Ganassi, which could be interesting. So like an older Air Ganassi, like femme kind of individual. For race, class, sorry. Race class. So class was the Hanged Man. So I had a few ideas for this. Because one of the things that I noticed was unsure of what paths to take, or in need of some kind of freedom or release from something. So I immediately thought like connections to some kind of deity, so maybe a warlock. This could be interesting.
Ooh, okay.
So it's like an Air Ganassi, like an older Air Ganassi that's had this connection to like a warlock patron for a long time, and is a very devoted patron, or has this very devoted like bond with this deity. And motivation, which is perfect. It's the 5 of Cups, which stands for things like sadness, loss, grief. So it's like maybe something happened to this older woman. Maybe she lost a child, or she lost a family member, like a sister or something, and she blames this deity for not giving her the power to do something about it.
Ooh.
So now, because there's this dilemma of I'm focusing on negative emotions, I'm isolating myself from, the world, it's like this is the opportunity to kind of do something about it. Where it's like, if I'm not going to be able to, have any, assistance from a deity, I'm going to use that magic given to me by a deity to do something for myself. And at this point in her life, because she's mature and she's older, she's like, fuck it, I can do what I want. because it's like I'm old enough. I've gone through the points in my life that are about following the rules, listening to other people, having people kind of govern me, and she's like, now I can do whatever the hell I want. Which I think is really
I
good.
love that.
I love this
I love this
older
character.
woman reclaiming her magic. Which is very fun.
I did realize I do have my crow deck over here. I'm kind of tempted to like do that. I want to try the whole past, present, future thing.
Okay, yeah. You want to do that next?
Because this is fun. I want to try. Yeah, I'm gonna try this. So let me take off my
Everyone can do it. It's
There
just
we go.
that simple.
It's just that
It's
easy.
just that easy.
So, all right, I have this little pretty crow deck. I got it because of my work with both Loki and Dionysus.
I didn't know Dionysus
and-
was a crow.
Well, a lot of people blackbirds. I think it's
okay.
primarily ravens, but
All right.
Dionysus and blackbirds. I know it's more with Apollo, but all right. So these are very pretty. They look like feathers, kind of on the back, and then this is kind of what the art looks like.
Funky,
So.
fresh.
Yeah. All right. So let's think of another question. What other questions did I have as far as like DMing and making NPCs and stuff? Oh, so
Oh, I have.
when you are
Oh,
making,
sorry.
Oh.
I'll think of a question for afterwards.
oh no, I was literally in the middle of pulling a question out of my butt. Did you have something?
Oh yeah, what's the most self-indulgent thing you've created?
I like that question better. So let's go with
Oh,
that
okay.
one. And since I'm shuffling tarot, Cecil.
Yeah.
Phone a friend.
What's the most self-indulgent thing you've made for like tabletop RPG, D&D, especially like anything?
I feel like we all already know.
I want to hear you say it.
Listen, just
Oh,
because
good.
I know doesn't mean that the chat knows. I know
Great.
the answer.
Okay. Also, real quick, if you hear anything else besides me talking, the downstairs neighbors are slamming themselves against the ceiling or something. I don't know what's
Oh,
happening.
they're throwing each other
But
up into
any-
the ceiling. Fantastic.
I don't know.
Like babies,
Well,
yeah, just whoop.
It's
Bang.
something. Anyway, so Claudius is my most self-indulgent thing I've ever made. Mostly because I made him for a one-shot that Nessa was doing. It was essentially I made Claudius. I wasn't realize I was doing, but what I was actually doing, I was essentially making a demon plus vampire character, because I had this thing where it's like, tieflings, right? Tieflings are great, but every time, like with the core like D&D books, anything that's like a mixed race, it's always like this thing plus human, and that's fine, but it's also boring. So I wanted to explore it, and I started with tieflings plus like elves. Like if an elf was like had a lineage that made a pact with whatever it is, fiendish blood in the bloodline. And I did a whole thing with like the background on how this was, and I created this like kind of homebrew thing. It was homebrew actually, yeah, because I had to make stats. So I made this whole like homebrew thing, which was like this elf tiefling, and I had all these stats written down and all this like the stuff, which was essentially a elf plus tiefling that was vampiric. and yeah.
That's really
and I made it for Claudius, who I made into this one shot. So originally, Claudius was this tiefling elf thing, and I mean, we all know where it's gone from there, but he is the most indulgent. I wanted to make him very quintessential, like, goth, vampiric looking. I wanted to have all of that look. I wanted to give him horns. I wanted to give him the pointed ears. I also wanted to make him, because all of my drawing style and all the characters, it's very round. And so I wanted to do the complete opposite of that. Something very, like, tall and, like, angular and long, and a lot of, like, sharper, like, angles in a design. And so that's what Claudius ended up from that. And yeah, and he's my favorite character. But yeah, that's
He's so
very
good.
much the most
He's so
indulgent
good.
thing
I love you,
I've
Claudius.
done.
I love Claudius.
And
He
I'm
is
so
since-
excited that we're gonna be. He's grown so much, and now he's gonna get a webcomic, and I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Claudius.
Well, yeah, that is the most indulgent. And then real quick, if I could, I made this whole thing, and oh, that was a separate thing. Never mind. I was gonna bring up the thing where Nessa made a tiefling village, and I'm still sad that we never got to it.
Yeah, Nessa made a tiefling village in the last campaign she ran, and we just never went to the mountain where it was, even though we kept looking at it.
Oh, no.
We never
To
went
be
to the mountain.
to be fair, we had the two options of, like, we were trying to save one of our, like, guide mentors, and I still don't think the pass through the mountains would have been feasible.
No, not with Art's truck. So, like, it makes sense. It makes sense why we didn't go, but damn.
But I miss it every day. What could have been?
That's so good.
But that's where I'm at.
Jason, your most self-indulgent creation for Tabletop RPGs.
God, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough to pick. I mean, I want to say that Magna's self-indulgent just because I'd never made a character that I was like, ah yes, self-insert. Like, I had never done that. But I want to say the most self-indulgent is probably either Jin or Neo. Just because I know Jin, I wanted a sexy fishman NPC character, and I made it for
Because hot.
I mean, yeah. I made Jin, which is one of the NPCs for Elmir, as a character in a D&D campaign that I was playing with my ex, and I put so much into that fish, that stupid fish. I loved him so much. He was very cool. I was very excited to, like, do cool things with him, and then I never got to do cool things with him because I just didn't vibe with the group very much. And so I was like, oh,
Yeah.
now I can never do anything with him. And then I put him in Elmir because I thought, why not? He's great. Let's do that. And then Neo was self-indulgent because I wanted a character where I could do that stupid Abe Sapien British.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, Abe Sapien isn't British, but I mean, like that Abe Sapien cadence
Mm-hmm.
with British, like stereotypical,
Oh, yeah.
goofy, comical, cartoony British. And
That kind of like C-3PO.
yeah, very C-3PO, which I'm very glad that I did that. And also because I wanted to model him after one of the characters in One Piece because I liked his design, just like walking around with a top hat and a bird on his shoulder. So that was very fun. and I dumped so much into him, and then he ended up with anxiety, and I'm like, boy, if that's just not the way, it's just the way, I guess.
If that ain't just how the way the world
that
works.
just ain't the way, so he's very.
I mean,
good.
that's what happened with Oscar.
That's true. That's true. But I oof, very good, very good. I do like them, and I think Aylmere in itself is just a very self-indulgent town.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to put all of my favorite aesthetics into one town. So you get like the Call of Cthulhu, you get like the haunted town where like nobody roams the streets and it's just quiet. The old like medieval architecture, the ghost stories, the the really creepy
Spooky.
people. Yeah, like this spooky aesthetic with like the random people that live in the town that are all very strange. Like, I love those kinds of aesthetics for just media in general, so I was like, oh, I gotta put them all into one place.
Yeah.
And then Aylmere was born.
Yay! And I'm loving Aylmere so much. And like also it's just you get to show up all your characters.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm spiteful. And no one gave a shit when I played them, so I'm gonna make them NPCs and you're gonna have to talk to them.
Now they're back.
Now they're back with a
With a
vengeance.
vengeance.
Yeah.
And now you have to care.
You have to
Yeah,
care. You have to care about them.
I care very much.
They're so good, Jason.
Why does this song keep getting quieter and
Again,
louder?
I just to fuck with you.
Ah, ah.
So, I think when it comes to what's indulgent for me, I think one of the most indulgent characters I've ever made is probably Wallace. Wallace was a very huge coping NPC for me. Like I just pure tragedy. Just tragedy after tragedy after, and then you're just watching more tragedies unfold to this man. And then it's like, help him.
Help him, please.
He can be saved. He can be saved. You just gotta
Please help
try.
him.
Please help him, please.
Please do
And it's like kind of
something.
cathartic. I'll admit, because like most of my NPCs have enough of me in them, unless I didn't make them. Like Claudius or Mikhail or Carrie or something. But all the characters have like a little bit of me in them. So like when people, like when players go and like befriend these NPCs and help them, it's cathartic in a way. So it's like just really indulgent for me as a DM. Richard is a very, very indulgent character for me. Yeah, I know, and I'm sure Cecil's making a very similar face at me that you are, Jason. Richard is a very, very indulgent character. Which is so strange that as is Amir in very different ways, clearly. So I think my answers are going to be Wallace, Richard, and Amir. But
Richard
yeah.
and Amir are very
Huh?
long-standing also. Richard and Amir are very long-standing OCs for you.
That's true. Yeah, Richard and Amir both were made actually as characters back in like junior high, high school, and then they just like grew and grew and grew and grew and now have become what you know and love today. They both got anxiety and handle it very differently.
Oh boy. What do they?
But oh, did get a quick question in the chat that I would love to address.
Sure.
Any advice for making a disabled character that has different disabilities than you? I want to make my
Yes.
artificer alchemist Nyx have a non-bio arm because backstory reasons, but I don't want to be rude.
Yes.
I think that yeah, like
I was gonna say there's a
if,
disabled
like,
character
however-
in Aylmere.
yeah.
Yeah, the one bard
Oh, there's
at
actually-
Heaven and Hell that y'all haven't talked to yet, that I'm gonna make you talk to next session.
Listen, please.
Ay,
I
ay,
do
ay.
love that character.
Yeah, but
so
I mean,
yes, I do.
I guess just in my opinion, and again, take it with a grain of salt because I do not have the same disabilities as this character. So again, just take it as it is. But I think one of the things specifically for character backstories, the way that I built this character when I played him was one of the reasons why he is missing an arm is just that was how he was born, and it's something that kind of fueled his desire to learn magic because it was like, okay, unable to fight two-handed with weapons, why not try something that's a little different with incantations and spell books and reading and like ritual casting and stuff like that. And the whole backstory was that there was like a traveling like Eladrin lady that was like, oh, I'm gonna show you all the cool things that I can do because winter is turning to spring. It's really cool. Watch, I'm gonna make this flower bloom. It's gonna be really cool. And he was like, oh, can you teach me to do like a fun little spell just for fun? Because I want to learn how to do magic. And she was like, yeah, sure. So she kind of taught him how to use air, because he's an air genasi, how to use air and smoke and mist and fog, and how to kind of use that to form the image of the arm that he was missing. Just as like here you go, I'm gonna teach you how to kind of transmute this into an image that you can kind of have and maneuver, and it's just kind of like a way to test your magical abilities. And it's really simple. It's just something, and it's like that ended up becoming something that played into the story later on as like because you're an air genasi, you can breathe in fog and hold your breath, and you can do all this stuff with like air magic. It's just like a little, it's like it's not impeding anything. It's not like, it's just like a fun little thing. Like, yes, this character is missing part of his arm. That's also like a little thing that later you can kind of use that magic as like this is what makes my character unique, special, but just as capable of traveling alongside the rest of the party. Which
and like
yeah, I was thinking of something.
no,
and my
sorry,
brain
there
just
was-
stopped working.
Oh no, you're good. There was just like a long enough pause, and your video is completely frozen on my end that I thought you were done. So
Oh yeah, no, I am.
it's
done.
working. Your okay. Your camera's working on the stream, but just not on my computer. But oh, now it is. Okay, cool. I got to see that face. So but yeah, I think one of I did share a link in the chat. Oh, first we did get a hydrate or dihydrate, so everyone make sure to take a sip of their drink. Jason just did, but thank you for keeping us
That's not
hydrated.
hydration.
I mean, it's liquid.
Yes.
But I did share a link into the Twitch chat, which is for D&D Disability. It is a Twitter that creates disability mechanics, supplements, and more for like 5th edition D&D, and also like all sorts of other tabletop RPGs. And they have like guide to service mimics is a very popular one that they have, but they have like ways to have like ADHD and other stuff. And I know that there's also been a lot of talk about combat wheelchairs and stuff like that, which I
love
think is very
that.
exciting.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I'd say 1000% go for it. Just, of course, remember, to respect that this is something that people actually deal with. Like, for example, like my character Hitchwire, I have a very slight stutter that kind of comes out now and then. It's annoying, but whatever. Hitchwire has a very severe stutter. And to play Hitchwire with this very severe stutter that did come from like an injury, it then became a lot of researching stutters and researching the different types of stutters. And if you're just playing at home with like 2 or 3 people, then of course it's like different than if you're streaming it live or doing it with a bunch of people. But a lot of work went into just researching, what kinds of stutters, how would this affect the Hitchwire's communication, how to because originally when I was voicing him, he was stuttering on kind of just anything and everything, and then it was like, oh, it's actually just certain sounds and it's certain this. So you kind of just do some basic research into if it has the character has a non-bio arm, researching into prosthetics. And then also if you're doing it with D&D, it's like, oh, what can this fantasy prosthetic do? Is there magic involved? Like, again, kind of like with Jason's character with the magic arm. Like, you can kind of go with that. In Welcome to Nexilis, one of the player characters was actually blind, Ivor. So it did make for a lot of interesting plot points when, like, Magna and Ivor were the only two processing a situation, like Roger arriving when the entire rest of the town froze. Ivor didn't realize that everyone else had froze because she didn't see that everyone else had frozen, but Magna knew immediately.
Yeah.
Because he like watched Dimitri like stop moving. So it just kind of adds that element, but also keeping that in mind. So yeah, I think that it just comes with like a lot of respecting the disability, respecting the character, respecting how, like, if they were born with a disability, how that would affect them and kind of lead them to adventuring, or how that would be part of their life because they live with it. If it was something that happened that caused it, how did the thing that happened affect them, and how were they managing and moving on. I want to create I want to make Nyx, I want to have Nyx be a good character. I learned while researching Fulmina Alchemist. I discovered the real Wolfnama of Phantom Limb Pain. Yeah. I want to create autistic PC that's got different systems than yeah. And I think that's like a great way, again, like talking on the topic of exploring yourself. It's exploring like while it might not be exploring yourself, exploring the world around you in a very creative way. If nothing else, I think that's really cool. Yeah. Also, I did have the cards ready.
Oh, yeah, what you got?
So for this character, I did the past, present, future, except when I pulled the last card, 2 cards fell out, so got 4 cards. What's really funny is the first 2 cards I pulled.
It's just
for
Richard.
It's no. Oh no.
Richard.
I mean, no.
Oh, okay.
No. So first card for past was Queen of Wands. Present was King of Wands. So they're trans.
Okay. All right. Right out the gate. I'm about it.
So for past, present, and future. So I was thinking like, okay, we got king, queen, right? Nobility, right? Okay. So we have a noble NPC. And I guess I was thinking you could go matriarch, patriarch, but with D&D you can literally play with kings and queens. So there's some sort of nobility. If it's modern fantasy, it could be like a politician or public figure or whatever. And then with them, the queen, so when you meet them as under King of Wands, presenting as masculine. And I was trying to pull up what the wands were again.
Do you want me to look?
So like spirituality, well, here it seems like very that's yeah. It's like spirituality, primal energy, determination, strength, intuition. So a lot of this could fit in with, leadership positions, but also with the talk of like spirituality, I was kind of thinking it could be kind of either like clerical or paladin or something, like they have like a religious backing. And then I pulled the last 2 cards, which would be ambitions and goals, right?
Okay.
First, I got the world,
Oh boy, okay.
and then also got the devil.
Huh.
So, with all of this ambition and spirituality, and both the world and devil feeling very like desire for like materials and experiences and all this, I was thinking that their ambition, and then what with spirituality, I was wondering, what if this could have made like either like kind of like a cult leader
Ooh.
or something of that sort,
Okay.
where it was like this noble person who just kind of got fucking fed up with just how their life was going and just bored, dreadfully bored, and kind of coming into themselves. And once he came into himself, like, and is like, I am able to live my truest life, but it's like not enough. Like figuring like, oh, getting comfortable in my own skin would be enough, and it wasn't enough. So he wanted more and more and more. He wanted more power. He wanted more prestige. He wanted more this, and so this could have made an antagonist.
Ah, okay.
Fueled by greed.
Okay. That's good.
I'm
about
so
it.
that was just kind of, I did like the queen. I liked the Queen of Wands, King of Wands, and I thought, should I pull this card away? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna use it. The deck gave it to me. I'm gonna use it.
It's where it's supposed to be.
And trans. So
Trans
here we are.
instantly.
Thank you, Loki deck. Mwah.
That's funny.
So, since I just wrapped that up, I did want to ask Cecil, since you also have tarot, would you like to try and craft a character with a tarot deck, like a 3-card pull?
I could.
Only if you want to. I just figured Jason and I both did, so.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Huh.
It's all still packed away.
Oh,
Do you want to
no.
borrow one of my decks? I could give you my housewife deck. That one's
Oh,
social.
a housewife deck?
Okay. I have a 1950s housewife tarot deck, and it comes in a box that looks like a recipe box. Here, let me get it.
Oh my god. That's hilarious.
I think it's in this over here.
That's really good, though. I'm vibing with this music.
Okay, so maybe I don't know where that tarot deck is, but the 1950s themed tarot deck did come from Barnes and Noble, so you can find it there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, if I find it, Olivia, I will send it your way.
I'm just goofing with the One Piece cards again.
No worries.
They're just so much fun to play with.
Yeah. Oh, another question that I thought of is, what is, as a DM and as a player, so like 2 separate answers.
Okie dokie.
What do you like to explore the most with characters, and why? Like, so when making player characters versus making NPCs, like, how do you approach these 2 types of character creation?
Okay.
Would you like to start, Jason, or would Cecil like to start? I mean, I could start. I just feel weird asking a question then answering it.
What's the question?
When approaching making NPCs versus approaching making player characters. So when you're making characters for a world as a DM, or like planning characters because you haven't played them yet, but you are making characters like Edgar and stuff, and Claudius, like, what is it with that versus making player characters such as like Art, Nilo, etc.? What do you like to explore the most with characters, I guess?
Oh, okay. I feel like I heard the first part and then there's never a second. I'm like, what about the 2 of them? I gotcha.
Oh, sorry. That could have happened. I could have thought I said it and didn't say it. My bad. But yeah, so just approaching character creation as a player versus as a DM. I mean, I can go first if no one's rushing to answer. Okay.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
because
just go.
sorry, I just found the thing on Amazon.
Oh, you're good. It's just you muted yourself, and then Jason just like stared, and I was like,
Sorry,
okay.
I'm just
I'll answer it.
I'm like, these cards. I'm sorry. Brain go burr.
It's fine. Yes, Olivia, that is the deck. Cecil did find the deck that I have. So there it is in the chat. That is the deck that I own. So when I'm making a character for NPC reasons, it's the inspiration for characters usually comes kind of the same, whether I'm going to make an NPC or a player character. Because I've made NPCs that I originally made them as player characters, and then I never got to play them, so I turned them into NPCs. It all kind of comes rooted in just like a spur of an idea. Usually I'll see a video that gives me an aesthetic idea, or I'll hear a song that gives me a narrative idea, and that's like the starting point. If I'm making a player character, I usually am looking to be very indulgent, trying to play people that I can see myself getting to explore in. Like I have a really, really, really bad habit of making caretaker characters, like Amir and Dalavash and Sirik and everything. Like I just keep making like caretaker characters. So it's like, no, I want to just go buck wild. I want to go all out. All that. So it's a lot of indulgence, a lot of emotional release, I guess, is where kind of my base is when I'm making player characters. Like, okay, will this be fun to play? What will I get to explore emotionally? While with NPCs, I'm far more narrative driven. How will they fold into the story? What do they add to the story? And a thing that I would also like to explore with NPCs is building them to work with player characters, but also making it possible for them to work against the characters. So I always like to make characters that could be an ally or an enemy, depending on what the players do. Like, there are multiple characters in Nexilis that I was prepared, if the player characters kept pissing them off, that they would have to deal with them. Like they could have, in Nexilis, you easily could have made an enemy of Larkin. You easily could have made an enemy of Richard and Claudius. You could have easily made an enemy of Beckett. You could have, like, there are all these characters that... A little bit. Most... No, yeah, all y'all. She probably would have killed Cora first.
Oh yeah.
And then worked her way down the line. But yeah, like there are all these NPCs, but then there's characters like Roger that I make to be an antagonist, and then he ends up an ally. So, I like to have that balance, just so the player characters, it's like, hey, these are the consequences of your actions. Everything that's going on with this NPC right now is because of how you behaved. And that could be great. Like with Amir and Dimitri, you got them on your side. Birin, Thespis, like you had those are like, I don't want to say consequences, but like those happened because of y'all's actions. But also the consequences of dealing with like Gideon and Meredith and stuff like that. These are consequences of your actions. And I think that showed more in Lotus than Nexilis.
Yeah.
But that's, but with player characters, it's like, what can I indulge in?
I was gonna say, at Lotus House, everyone was being selfish as hell. That's pretty much what Lotus House was.
Yep. So just no one was incredibly thrilled. But it's fun to like watch as a DM player characters face the consequences of their actions. So I like to make NPCs that will give consequences to actions. And I feel as the more I DM, the less afraid I am to actually like give consequences to actions. Mostly because I know that my players like Jenny, Chelsea, and Jason are like, yeah, give us the consequences. I'm like, okay. So, yeah, player characters, it's like, what can I explore emotionally? What do I not get to do in my day-to-day? And then with NPCs, it's like, how can I tell a good story? And how can I give these players consequences to their actions? That's the basic.
Checks out.
Jason, would you like to go next?
Sure.
I'm not a DM, so go ahead.
You will be.
You will.
I'm not right now.
It's only a matter of time. Join us.
You will be.
Okay, so no, as a player, I think one of the things that I look for when building characters is who is this character, and how do I build them so that people in the party will want to interact with them? Whether it's good, bad, I don't know. It's how do I create a character with a skill set, with a personality, with X, Y, and Z. Not necessarily an interesting backstory. They don't have to have an interesting backstory. It's just how do I create a character that will make functioning as a party interesting. And I like being the kind of person that can provide, like the character that I play in my Saturday games is chaotic. And I don't play chaotic characters often, but is chaotic to the point where if there's something that the group is doing, it's like bandits are attacking XYZ, and the group immediately jumps into action to go and stop the bandits. My character is going to be like, didn't start that fight, not my problem. So it doesn't do anything. And it's not like I'm lazy, I'm not going to get involved. It's that, okay, so now the party is one, reevaluating, okay, do we jump into fights just because there are fights? Can we look at them outside of that and make the decision whether or not we want to jump into things because this person's not? Or does that mean, we have somebody that's not going to listen when, if there's like a self-proclaimed leader of the group who gives directions, is this person going to listen? And how do you, teamwork? How do you work with that person? So it's like, that's just something I like giving my party somebody fun to play with, like as a confidant, as a member of the party, as maybe an, I don't want to necessarily say like a nemesis or like anything like that, but just how do I make a character that the party is going to have fun playing with as a party member? So that's something that I enjoy with building PCs. But for building NPCs, I guess it's a lot of the same. How do I build a character that fits into the story, that will help you with things, or will, tell this part of the story or that part of the story? For Aylmere specifically, it was like, how do I take the PCs that I've already created, and how do I kind of assign them jobs within an existing town? Like, if I put all of my characters into one place, what roles would they hold? What jobs would they have? How would they contribute to town? And then from there, okay, we have all of these extra missing spaces. Who do I put here? What can I, how do I fit this into the story? And what characters do I need for narrative story beats? Like, who has information on this? Who has information on that? Who, has this skill that you need in order to find this? Or who has the authority in these areas that you might want to talk to in order to find this? So it's a little bit of, building characters that fill the world and make the world interesting, but also how do they build the story and how do they help the party to finish the story? You're muted. You were.
No, I was. Just because people are loud outside. But yeah, and it's like you mentioned a thing that I think is like really good to point out about NPCs, just like a general bit of advice. when making an NPC, first question you should ask yourself, what does your NPC know that the party should know?
Yep.
Just general advice. I got to talk with Ashley recently about it, and there was this whole thing of like comparing it to us and our murder mysteries. It's like, yeah, just knowing what your characters know is far more important, I think, when making NPCs and making player characters, because as player characters, you'll learn as a party usually. Yeah. But with NPCs, it's like, no, you need to know what information they hold in their noggin.
Yep.
Yeah. Cecil, if you don't feel like at liberty to talk about NPCs, you can just talk about what you like about making like player characters.
Oh no, like I mean, like I'm kind of the same mind where it's very much like the difference would be you're putting these characters in as like they're fitting roles, they're doing their devices to either move the plot forward or like aid the party in moving the plot forward. So it's a very different like function, whereas like play a character, you're just like, well, I'm having fun, I'm doing my stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I feel like me and Nessa have similar interests in like making characters that are like either contradictions or they have one particular like thing that like kind of puts a twist on something. I love it. I know Nessa loves it a lot. Nessa's really good at it, like really fucking good at it. I love all of her characters, and I'm very similar in like I love like creating a character that is like it's this, but how you expect it is not quite how it is. I made that for like when we were making Yakuza OCs. That's kind of what I was doing with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like that idea. But when I end up having the opportunity to play like D&D or play a game, I'm usually kind of indulgent. I usually am like, yeah, I can do that, or I can make my 5th tiefling.
You're so valid, though.
Like,
I'm proud of you. You made it. You made it to Baxi once.
I made a kitty.
You're
been wanting to do that. I do say that, but I actually feel like when I was looking at all my characters, they're pretty balanced. I've been trying like one of everything at least. Nim was a lot of fun because it was like that, like, oh, she's like really cute, but she's also really fucking tall, and she's a barbarian, and she'll wreck your shit. But she's very motherly.
She's so good.
I missed you.
Mama.
I missed you too. I love them so much. Nim's very good, and I really enjoyed that. I love them a lot. But yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Neat. Oh, I was gonna say after you're done, I have another question. When you're done.
Oh yeah. So just kind of like doing that. I know, like Nessa and maybe a little lesser Cass will do the whole like if you're going into like, okay, what does the rest of the party need if you're playing? And I'm like, I don't even, whatever. If we get fucked over, that's the fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Nessa and I are more like, okay, we need a healer, we need a fighter, we need a this, we need a that. And Cecil's just like, hey.
I'm just running in there. I'm just running in like, hey, I've got my shit, dumps it on the ground. I'm ready.
God.
Hey, you're playing a level 3 bard. What if I'm a level 3 cleric? We almost die once every session for a bit. Though to be fair, to be fair, you and I also did decide to have a party that consisted of only a barbarian and an artificer. How did we survive? Nessa's mercy because
good.
Hitchwire actually was supposed to die. Like, I did the 3 consecutive failed death saves. I was supposed to die, and then Nessa was like, Hitchwire's not done yet. Y'all get saved by special ops.
I was gonna say, fun fact, Hitchwire did die,
Yay.
and everything after this has been hell. Just
Oh,
his
God.
own personal hell.
Yeah. God.
Jesus Christ.
That actually does kind of lead me to my last question. A very indulgent answer. When it comes to like things in D&D that you like to play with, certain races, certain classes, certain backgrounds, what are your favorites? We're all gay. We can all automatically list tieflings.
I was gonna say, I don't think I have to say a word.
Yeah, I liked.
No, but for real.
They're a bitch to draw, though.
Yeah.
So like,
I can imagine. Well, here, Jason, what's your favorite like race, class, like to play with in D&D?
I
if you have
try
any.
and change it up every single time. I mean, I've played a bunch of bards because I played one, I got used to it, I knew the mechanics, then I just made another one because I didn't want to bother learning something new. And then I realized, where's the fun in that? So I haven't played a bard in a while, but I do enjoy and I do know and feel the most comfortable with the bard leveling up system, and I know what spells to play to break it. So
Yeah.
that's great. I love that. And I think most recently, one of the character races that I've started enjoying more are orcs and furbolgs. Just in general, just I like being able to build big characters, whether it's big muscular, big stature, just big take up a lot of space. I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
And I like situations like that because I like, well, one, drawing them is fun.
Oh yeah.
But two, I know that it's very cliche, and I know we all know it, but half-elves and tieflings are like the queer go-to race. Just those two.
Yeah.
Half-elves and tieflings are like the ones that people tend to gravitate towards the most. And they're moderate size, so they're like average people sized. So it's like, take a
Right.
group of like those, and then the random one person that's like, oh, I want to be a halfling or a dwarf, or like a tabaxi, and just kind of do that. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna be the big one. I want to be the big one. Like, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that. So that's one of my things that I enjoy the most. Is definitely big characters, and my safety net, which is just any variant of bard.
Yeah. That's fair. You know, like, I personally love... I said for a long time that my favorite class was cleric, and I do love clerics.
It's artificer,
But, yeah, it is artificers. And, like, a lot of people don't realize that, like, artificers can be healers. Like, I've played healer as an artificer. You just, like, make health potions, you know? I think you have to be an alchemist to be able to do that, but I know that artificers can make stuff. So, like, I love... Because I always love me a good chaotic scientist character. Like, Newt Geisler, like, Ghostbusters, the new one. I think her name is Jillian. She, like, I loved her. I just love the wacky adventure, like the wacky inventors. So like Hitchwire was constantly inventing and making things, like all of the weapons and all the spells, and it was really cool because when we played it, we were playing it in this world where magic wasn't the same. So like when he could do things like cast Shatter, it was that he had built a grenade and like could use grenades, and so it's like explaining how this magic kind of works is really cool. And in line with that, when it comes to races, I don't really have a favorite. It all kind of just depends. But I've realized when it comes to making like content and NPCs, I have made a lot, and I mean a lot of robots. I love Warforged. I love robots, and I'm really excited that I'll get to start sharing all my homebrew, like other Warforged, like robot, android sort of stuff. So I love making robots, especially robots who look human. And like it kind of, because I always had this whole thing of I've loved seeing it as like I use it as a, what's the word I'm looking for, an allegory for mental health, because it's like having to live this life of I look like the people around me and I function like the people around me, but they don't need to know that all of my inner workings are different. Like, and I guess someone who has like invisible disabilities as well as a lot of mental health stuff, I love to play with that, like this presenting as one thing and then truly being like another. So I love that whole thing. That and Changelings are fun. I've only gotten to play one, and I only got to play him for 2 sessions, but I'll eventually play a Changeling properly. And when it comes to, I personally do love in-game romance. I've only ever gotten to like do true genuine like romance as a character, as a DM, actually. Oscar's teetering there. We'll see what happens.
We're trying.
We're trying. I mean, they've only been there like 4 days.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting them to like, but like, yeah, like Magnamir was the first like time, like Magnamir and Thespis and Korra and like Ivern Winter, that was the first time I really got to indulge. But as a player, I've never really gotten to indulge. So it's like, I'm hoping either with another player or an NPC, I really do hope to do that, because I am a hopeless romantic and love that. And I do I do love Beggies. Magnamir, the epitome of in-game romance.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, those tragic boys.
They're so sad.
Those tragic boys.
So sad.
Oh, the whole polycule, all of them need rest.
They need time to just chill out.
Can someone give the polycule an all expenses paid vacation to literally anywhere? Like, just let them go on a vacation and have a good time. Oh.
Sorry, I'm getting very distracted because somebody tagged me in
Oh.
I'm like getting very distracted. Somebody tagged me in a comment to a Thomas Sanders post and he replied to it.
Oh.
Because apparently he streamed Dream Daddy and somebody commented and tagged me in it and said, hey, that's who voices Damien, and commented on it to Thomas Sanders, and he acknowledged it. So I'm like, oh, I might as well just comment and say, like, hope you had a good time. Like a decent person.
Yeah. Watch Thomas Sanders follow you on Twitter.
Honestly, that's really funny. I did have a bunch of people hop in and be like, I'm gonna follow you. And I was like, all right, cool. I don't do much. I mean, I do a lot, but I don't do much. But I do a lot. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway. But yeah, I'm right there with you with like the in-game romance. It's a good.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
It's so much fun. Just pure
D&D.
indulgence.
Be gay with your friends.
Yeah. Cecil, what are your favorite like races, classes, things to play with before we wrap up? Cecil?
Oh, sorry. It cut out right when you, I think, asked me. And I'm just like listening, and it's quiet. I'm like, uh-oh. Is it me? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, we have had so much lagging this stream.
But what's interesting is it's just
our
over
downstairs
there.
neighbors.
It's just you guys, because on
Yeah,
my
it's
end,
probably
I can hear you, and Cass, your camera's fine. It blips a few times, but it's like not bad. I'm very confused.
oh, it's
Yeah,
probably
my internet
just-
has been oof this entire time.
Been just
Well,
woofing.
we're getting to our last question. So, final question, Cecil, my
Me.
good bean. Yes,
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
What are your favorite like classes, races, etc. to play in D&D?
Well,
Me too.
well,
Yeah.
we all know Tiefling. That's the yes, forever period. I have a bunch. Do I make any other characters? Well, I made like because I was wanting to make a Furbolg, so I wanted to make Nem a Furbolg. Really enjoyed that. I really like Furbolgs. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've really made any other characters. But if I have, they have just not stayed around. It's been a really like one shot or one off, or it just didn't happen. Yeah, I mean, I also have like Nimble, who's a Tabaxi, and I love that. I love Tabaxi. But like it's all tieflings. It's all
Oops, all tieflings.
it's all tieflings.
Oops,
All
tieflings.
tieflings.
Yeah.
For classes, like I've been trying to kind of like cycle through them, and for the most part, I love, which is like the exact opposite of like Nessa or something. I love like magic and playing with the magic and everything. Even though my very 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 first character I ever made for D&D, I made them a wizard.
Oh boy. Oh no.
And I never played a wizard again.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But even though I was warned not to do it, and I did it anyway.
So sorry.
But
True Cecil culture.
oh no, it was just me. It was all on me. I really liked playing a druid. That was a lot of fun. Art was a druid, and then she multi-classed as a rogue. Druid's a lot of fun. You get a lot of weird spells. She got so many spells. Like I don't know what level we ended up at, but she had so many
13,
spells.
14.
Yeah, she just had so many fucking spells. I enjoyed it a lot. I've played Rogue a couple of times. When I was first starting out, I played it more because I believe when I played Ruben the one time, that was as a rogue. Although I don't think that was a surprise rogue.
Yeah, because y'all didn't know your classes and stuff.
That was fun. And then Claudius was also rogue, an assassin. And that's fine. But I do like magic a lot. You can do a lot with magic, and I enjoy it a lot. I feel like even today I'm sitting here like I don't know how to use like fighting, like combat, like physical combat. I feel like I don't know how to do it. I feel like I'm doing it wrong every single time I do it.
It's tough.
Because it's like, oh, a spell you just roll and you do it and whatever. And I have no idea. But for the most part, I've been pretty like, I've done most classes at least once. I prefer the ones that are spell heavy that I've done, because I haven't played a warlock, wizard, or sorcerer. But yeah, druid's a lot of fun. I would love to do druid again. Yeah, I'm not too picky about my classes outside of the spells.
As long as it's a tiefling.
As long as it's tieflings, they can do whatever.
You
So, you know, they just do it.
All right. Well, we've been on here for about 2 hours. I think it's been a pretty good time. Thank you both so much for hopping on with me. I know this is incredibly last minute, so
Hell
thank you both,
yeah.
Jason and Cecil.
Get your gay
for
breakfast.
joining.
Get your gay breakfast. Gay agenda coffee. Put it in your mouth. Drink it up. Slurp,
Do
slurp.
it. Do it.
10%
Do it
off.
because it's
Discount code Nexilis Games. Go for it. It's great.
link in the chat.
Do it. It's great. Grinding Coffee Co. Fantastic. Like cute sweaters, cute hats, cute masks. Their logo is really great. I love it. It's on a mug. You can buy it. And all their coffees sound
Also,
incredible.
audio is completely cut.
Yeah, you did. You did completely cut.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Sorry, I was gonna say I thought you had stopped talking, so I started
did.
talking. Then I realized all sound had stopped, and it was like, oh, okay. Well, the more coffee that you know, if this is successful and this keeps going, maybe we can make it a thing where you can see more drawings like that Sleepy Magna with a mug.
Sleepy Magna with a mug is a great time.
But we'll only get more art like that if you buy coffee through that link with our promo code.
Gotta buy coffee. You gotta drink it up. Slurp, slurp.
Yeah. Slurp it up. I hope someone was. As I say, I hope someone watching the stream has headphones in.
Oh, I thought you were
that'll
gonna say, I hope
horrible.
somebody in chat has seen Half-Life VR, but the AI is self-aware. Or not. Or you just heard a bunch of slurping.
Yeah. No, I hope someone in the chat has watched that because more people need to watch that.
I know Olivia has. I've showed Olivia. That's probably
What if I just made Dr. Coomer?
You did.
What if I just...
It's Etcher.
Hello, Gordon. No, I mean...
I was going to say that I'm listening with headphones.
Hello, Gordon. Now I also want to make
gross.
Dr. Coomer.
Okay, this is going downhill
He's gonna
real
be a
quick.
barbarian.
What if... What if we all just made
Oops,
Dr.
all
Coomer?
Coomer.
Because that's canon. Oops, all Coomer. You could have an artificer. You could have a barbarian. You could have one of like each of the classes.
Barbarian?
But as
Yeah, Joe. Oh,
Yes.
sorry, you haven't seen the last episode, but it'll all make sense.
Oh, good.
It'll all make sense.
more sexy Dr. Coomer. Jason. Sexy Dr. Coomer.
You can finally use sexy Dr. Coomer.
Oh.
I forgot I drew that until right now.
Oh,
Oopsie.
God. Oops. Well, Jason, Cecil, thank you both so much for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you to everyone who came into the chat and asked questions and chit-chatted with us. Whether you stuck around to the end or left early, all of you were endlessly appreciated. Thank you so much for making this a good few hours. We will be streaming our next session of Another Morning in Aylmere, getting up to the finale, on Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can join us there. And you'll want to tune in because we are almost done with Another Morning in Aylmere. So you're not going to want to miss how it all wraps up.
You don't have to
'cause
suffer
I'm
for
excited.
much longer. It's almost
Yeah,
done.
good news, it's only in a
hush your
couple
mouth. The only
days.
reason that I'm suffering... Yeah, I was gonna say the only reason that I'm suffering is that I can't be playing it right now. So yeah, thankfully I won't be suffering much longer because I'll get to play Monday.
Well, I need you
So
to
there,
real quick,
you
I
try
need
and
you-
insult yourself. I'm just gonna turn it into a compliment.
Can't
Fuck
believe.
you.
So, actually, I'm gonna need you to roll a wisdom saving throw right now.
Fuck. Okay, hold on.
I do want to know the outcome of this.
Hey Jason,
Yeah.
I got a 9.
Oh, boy.
You got
I
a
got
9.
9.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well,
What happens?
I take your shins. That's what happens.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
You don't realize that
need
I'm
those.
actually in your walls, and I have come to take your shins.
What? You've been in my
like-
walls, and I could have hugged you this whole
No,
time.
Fun
Like how
fact,
that was a
it's
wisdom
not me.
saving
It's an
throw.
unseen servant. That's in your walls. It's come to take your shins and bring them back to me,
God.
like a Krampus.
God. But I need those. Can I just give you an IOU for now?
No.
I'm already
You
in
have
medical debt.
shins,
What's a
I
little bit
want
more?
them. But
But I need them right now.
do you? You're
I'm
sitting
using
down.
them. I'm not in a chair, so I need my shins.
What do you-
Because I just. Oh no, my chair.
I see the chair.
I
I
need my
see the
shins.
chair. I see the sit your ass back down. You have
I
a
have
box.
no chair, I need
There's
to
a box
stand.
behind you. You were just
My
talking
butt's
to me
too
about.
far away. My butt's too far away. See, it doesn't reach the box.
Well, whose fault is that? You're gonna have to crawl your way over
Not-
there once your shins are gone.
Not mine. No. Okay. So as Jason takes my shins, yes, please join back with us. It'll be Cecil and myself, as well as Nessa, Jenny, and Chelsea, all playing. And then Jason will be wrapping up as our DM, which is exciting. His first time DMing on stream. And I'm sure we'll have more mini campaigns and one-shots from him in the future, which I am very excited for.
Yes, you will.
Excellent. So, everyone, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to follow us on Twitter or wherever else. You can either look up Thesperience, which is our production hub, or Nexilis Games, and we'll be just about anywhere under one of those two names. And you can follow our streams and stuff for artwork done by both Jason and Cecil, as well as I am Captain Usopp, has done some art for both the Nexilis and Jar of Rebuke in the past, so that's exciting. Hello, Olivia. And yeah, is there anyone to give a love raid to at the moment? Let's see. Who is on? Well, we could raid. If anyone has any suggestions for channels to raid.
I was gonna
I
go,
will take
ooh,
suggestions.
Thesperience. I'm like, wait, that's us. So
Wait, that's me.
Not us.
Okay, I have found a non-binary streamer who is streaming Dead by Daylight. So let's just do that, because that's a queer streamer I see right there. Raid Caffeine. Is that right?
Wait, how are you rating if I'm running it?
Fuck, you're right, you are.
So you're just gonna be typing.
Does that work? Ha! I can do it on mobile!
Oh, never mind then. Alright, so we're gonna go raid, and then we'll be on outro. So, cool, we'll do that. Done me a scare.
Well, I can hold the raid.
That's fine.
I can hold the raid. No
Okay,
worries.
so you'll see
All right,
all of us
bye.
doing stuff on Monday. Yay.
Bye!